This is a complete guide of all the tainted characters in The Binding of Isaac. If you haven't seen the video on the regular characters, then check that out, it's gonna be in the description. There are timestamps on the screen right now if you want to skip to a certain character, and let's go. First up is Tainted Isaac, and he starts with base stats and a bomb. Tainted Isaac's passives make it so each pedestal will fluctuate between two items all the time. So all angel items, all treasure room items, all secret room items, they will be switching back and forth between two items on the same pedestal, so you always have a choice between two items. But the downside is that Tainted Isaac can only hold 8 passive items on him at the same time, so you have to switch and pick which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to drop and leave behind. These are some tips for Tainted Isaac. Since you're limited on inventory space for items, then trinkets play a massive part, so you should really focus on finding some solid trinkets. This one is really big. Judgment cards and temperance machines are broken with Tainted Isaac. For example, if I would place down a judgment inside of a secret room and then pay that guy out, he will probably pay out with something like dog food or a blue map or something. But the thing is that every single pedestal that spawns fluctuates into another item as well, and that other item is gonna come from the same pool that that guy's pedestal is in. So the secret room, it might fluctuate into what? Glitch crown, sacred orb. There is massive potential to find here, and the same goes for the blood donation machine. If you pay it out until it jams and you get either a blood bag or an IV bag, then that's also gonna fluctuate into the secret room pool. Also note that story items like the negative, the polaroid, the key pieces, and also active items don't count for your inventory slots. Transformation items like conjoined progress, like guppy progress, and spawn progress will not be removed once you drop that item again. So for example, if I have growth hormones and I find another broken item and I want to drop my growth hormones, that is absolutely fine. I will still keep the 1 out of 3 spawn that I got from that syringe. Same goes for Guppy and all the transformations. But if you use something like a D4 or a D100, then you will not keep your transformation progress, okay? Items that give you pickups like Latchkey or Pageant Boy, or items that give you HP like Breakfast, dropping these items will cause their passive buffs to be removed, but you will still keep the HP and all of the pickups that it granted. This means that it's never worth it to save an HP upgrade in your inventory, so you should always just try to drop them immediately. You will not lose your HP, don't worry, okay? Try to unlock Tainted Isaac as fast as possible, and try to complete his marks as fast as possible as well, because he has some broken unlocks like the Reverse Stars card, Soul of Isaac, Mega Chest, Spin Down Dice, Dice Bag, and Glitch Crown, man. Incredible. Next up is Tainted Magdalene. She starts with base stats as well, but she starts with the Yum Heart as a pocket active item. She starts with 2 red hearts and 2 empty hearts, but they can easily be filled up with your Yum Heart the second you spawn, since the Yum Heart heals you for 2 hearts. The special thing about Tainted Maggie is that when she's above 2 red hearts, her health will start depleting, and it depletes at a rate of half a heart every 10 seconds, and it will continue draining until you're down to 2 red hearts. The other thing about Tainted Maggie is that enemies have a high chance of dropping hearts when they get killed. If you shoot them with your tears and kill them that way, then they have a pretty low chance of dropping, but the thing is that Tainted Maggie has a melee attack where she can just run in and start swinging at people, just like the Forgotten. This does mega damage, and an enemy slain from this melee attack has a 100% chance of dropping a half a red heart that stays there for 2 seconds before it goes away. Tips for Tainted Maggie, I think there are a lot, especially items that proc on getting hit, because you just want to run into enemies and heal back up at the start of the game at least. It can be a bit more tricky to use your melee attack against bosses, because boss fights usually last for longer and you won't get your hearts back during the tanking phase. But if you find a boss like the Duke of Flies that spawns a lot of flies and enemies all the time, they will also keep dropping red hearts every time you kill them, so you will be able to maintain your HP during the boss fight. But having red heart HP is very, very important, so try not to spend it all inside of a devil deal ideally. Finding items that proc when you take damage or when you do contact damage to something else like Serpent's Kiss, Midas Touch, It Hurts, items like that are incredible for you. You could also look out for trinkets or passive items that make you charge up your Yum Heart quicker. For example, the 4.5 volt is very strong, the car battery is very nice for using your active item twice. Finding a AAA battery helps out a lot in the long run. The next up is Tainted Cain, okay? I don't know how I'm gonna describe this guy, okay? Wish me luck. He starts with a higher speed and a lower range, just like Cain does, and he also starts with the Bag of Crafting. So Tainted Cain cannot pick up any items. If he tries to, they will just explode into pickups. So how do you get items then? You use the Bag of Crafting, of course. Now, the Bag of Crafting can be filled up with up to 8 consumables, like pills, cards, coins, keys, bombs, stuff like that. And then once you've filled the bag up, you can hold it down and you can craft the item that you built with your recipe. This is so tricky, and a lot of people have different strategies on how they play Tainted Cain. I'll show you mine right now. The first thing I like to do is to find 8 normal pennies, and then I craft them into the portable slot. So So now I have an active item, and then I will have to find 8 more pennies, and then I'll craft another portable slot. And you saw right there, because I already have an active item and I crafted another active item, I exploded the active item. So now there are a lot of different pickups on the floor. Ideally, I do this inside of my secret room every time, because there's a high chance for bone hearts to drop inside the secret room, and they are really high quality, and they are in many high quality recipes. And then I just rinse and repeat this. If I find items in the shop that I can afford, I'll buy them to spawn more pennies so I can craft more portable slots and pop them in the secret room. Just spawn more pickups, and I look at the recipe tab on the left hand side, and then I craft the items I want. Simple as that. And next up is Tainted Judas. He has one of the most aggressive and satisfying playstyles in the entire game in my opinion. He starts with 2 black hearts, 3 coins, and the dark arts as his pocket active item. So dark arts is really good for causing damage to your enemies, but it's even better at boosting your own damage. For instance, every single enemy and every single projectile that you touch while you're in your dark arts mode will temporarily give Judas a temporary damage boost. The damage boost will be bigger and last even longer depending on how many enemies and projectiles you destroyed while you were in that dark arts mode. There's only 2 things that you really need to watch out for when you're playing as Tainted Judas, and it is not using your cards or pills by accident when you're trying to use your dark arts. This has happened to me so many times. You have to keep in mind that Tainted Judas cannot pick up any red hearts. Any HP upgrades will be transformed into black hearts. That counts for eternal hearts as well. So just keep this in mind and be careful. Next up is Tainted Blue Baby. Ew. Tainted Blue Baby starts off with a lower speed than usual and a lower tears rate. He also starts off with 3 soul hearts. The thing with Tainted Blue Baby is that he cannot use bombs. Instead of bombs, he can pick up these poop pickups that spawn once you kill enemies or once you hit enemies, or just spawn from like room clear rewards. Tainted Blue Baby can hold up to 9 poops in his inventory, and he can also hold 1 poop inside of the hold. That's his pocket active item. Every time you use your bomb button, you will instead now use a poop. There are a lot of different poops, like the regular one, the corn one, the flaming one, the stinky one, black one, white one, stone one, and just a stinky bomb. You also have just a normal fart, an explosive diarrhea, and a brown creep. Some of these are throwable, some of them aren't, and they just have a lot of different interactions, like some of them explode when they are combined together, like the flaming poop and the stinking poop. Just like the regular version, Tainted Blue Baby cannot pick up any red hearts. So you have to try to maintain your HP a bit better than when you're playing as a regular character like Isaac or something. You should also not be afraid to use your poops regularly, like use them for offense. I would honestly recommend using them in every single room. Cannot lie, especially in the early game when you don't have that much of a DPS output. When you use your hold item, you will save that 1 poop that you were gonna use, you will save that in your active item, and then you can use it later on. In this way you can have a saved up bomb. So it is nice to always have a bomb ready. Playing Tainted Blue Baby will guarantee you can find your secret rooms, and you will be able to blow up a lot of stuff. Try to look for your secret rooms, try to blow up every single blue fire, and just good luck, man. The next character is Tainted Eve, and she is a really interesting character. She starts off with 2 red hearts, she starts off with a base damage but with a nice multiplier, lower tears rate than usual, and she starts off with the item the Sumptorium. Everything that Tainted Eve does revolves around the Sumptorium. When she fires for 2 seconds in a row, she will use 1/2 a red heart and spawn a blood clot. So if you're just spawning in as Tainted Eve and you shoot down for 6 seconds, you will be down to 1/2 a red heart, and you will have 3 clots on the floor helping you shoot. If you use your Sumptorium again, you will transform your clots back from clots to your real HP, and you will heal up to full again if your clots haven't died. You have to keep in mind that your clots can die if they get hit by enemies or if they walk into fires or such things. It's not only red hearts that can turn into clots, like every single type of heart can turn into a different type of clot. So soul heart clots are the same as red heart clots. If you get black heart clots, they deal more damage than your soul heart and red heart clots, and they also have the dark matter effect on them. Eternal heart clots deal massive damage, and they also have homing attributes like the sacred heart. A golden heart clot will have the Midas touch perk, and this scales with luck. A bone heart clot will have the compound fracture effect, and a rotten clot will have no effect. These are some tips for Tainted Eve. I think that Tainted Eve and Eve are similar in many ways, because regular Eve you want to be as low as possible to do as much damage as possible, and the same goes with Tainted Eve but even more drastically. Tainted Eve without any clots is one of the worst characters in the game, but with clots she's absolutely broken. You want to find as much HP as you can on the floor, and you should also try to optimize how you use your HP. For example, if I found a blood bag from a blood donation machine, I would first use my Sumptorium by holding down the shoot button for however many seconds it takes until I am completely out of red heart HP. And then I will pick up the blood bag, because then I will get healed up to full and then I can use it all over again. In this way you can get so many clots for your HP than if you would just do it impulsively and take the blood bag straight away. I would also recommend that you refresh your clots every once in a while. So every once in a while you press Q to suck up the clots again. The clots that are left over that can't get sucked into your HP will just drop back on the floor again, but then at least you can place down your clots once again and they will be back up to full HP. The last thing you want is that your clots start dying and that you lose all of your HP, and then there you are naked with no HP and no clots. That's not ideal, man. You can also use your clots as like a backup save, like the jar or something. Like if you want to play a sack room and you have a lot of red clots on the floor, then you can just tap the sack room, use Sumptorium, suck up some more red hearts, do it again, you know. But this is up to you, of course, if you want to spend it in the sack room or if you want more output DPS. Everyone has a different playstyle, but I'm just putting it out there. If you would somehow be left with half a red heart and no clots on the floor, you will be transformed into this Bloody Babylon, Tainted Eve's demon form, and you will have a knife similar to the mom's knife. This is pretty cool, but I don't recommend staying in this stage for long because you're at half HP, like, watch out, man. The last thing I would like to mention is that items like the Satanic Bible or like Yum Heart or Yuck Heart or the Prayer Card, something that can just give you generate HP, is really solid because you can just generate more and more clots. Next up is Tainted Samson. This one will be pretty quick, I think. Every time he takes damage or causes damage, he will grow more and more red, and after he reaches a certain point, he will activate Berserk mode and will start swinging a club that deals mega damage. By killing enemies in this form, he will maintain his Berserk state, and you can probably clear out a full floor with just this Berserk state because it is really broken, especially early game. You can also swing away projectiles that are firing towards you with your club while you're in Berserk mode, so I would just recommend running in there and spamming your shoot button as much as possible. You could also charge up and throw your bone club that you get in Berserk mode, but I would just recommend doing the melee attack since it does a lot more damage per second. You will get knocked back when you swing your bone club every single time, so you have to like manage and keep moving forward even though you want to stay in the same spot, if that makes sense. That's basically it for Tainted Samson, just swing away, okay? But I would say also defeat Mega Satan as fast as you can because you will unlock the Crane game and that is really good to have for your future arcades. Next up we got Tainted Azazel. Just like normal Azazel, he starts with 3 black hearts and a brimstone, but this time his brimstone is a thin brimstone with a much longer range than the usual one. Tainted Azazel doesn't have flight like the normal one does, but it does start with the Brimstone Sneeze attack, and this is really powerful. If you just tap your shoot button instead of charging it, you will use your Sneeze attack, and this will knock enemies back and curse them with a Brimstone curse. If you then fire a Brimstone at a cursed enemy, it will deal mega damage, and then when they die, they will explode and also curse enemies around them. If you can utilize this nicely, then this can be absolutely broken. I like to run in there, sneeze, back off, brimstone, hope for a chain reaction when that enemy dies. If it doesn't, then I'll run in there again and sneeze again on the other enemies and back off, do it all over again. This does mega damage against bosses, it does mega damage against anything really, but this character favorizes an offensive playstyle, so if you're not an offensive Isaac player, then you might find this a bit tricky, but you will soon get the hang of it, I promise. Tainted Lazarus is our next character. This is a 2-part character since there is a counterpart to Tainted Lazarus called the Dead Tainted Lazarus. You will turn into Dead Tainted Lazarus every single time you clear a room, and then when you clear another room after that, you'll turn back into normal Tainted Lazarus. Each character has separate stats, and if you pick up an item with Dead Tainted Lazarus, for example, that will not get picked up for the normal Tainted Lazarus, so they have different items as well. The one thing that they have in common is that they have the pocket active item Flip, and when you use this, you will turn into the other variant of Tainted Lazarus. But Flip is useful in many other ways as well. When you have Flip and you find a pedestal inside of a treasure room or a shop or a devil room, something like that, just a pedestal that spawns naturally, you will see that there is another shadow item behind the item that you're primarily seeing. And if you would use Flip in a room like this, you will turn into the other Tainted Lazarus, yes, but you will also flip this item and you will get the other pedestal as well. So it is really important that you utilize your charges correctly and that you go into Devil Deals and treasure rooms with a charged up active item. If you go into Devil Deal and you pay for 1 item or 2 items or 3 items even with 1 character and then you use the Flip, you can take all of the 3 items for free as the other character. Very powerful, very strong, very nice. This character can be so tricky because your two characters can be so like unbalanced. For example, you do not want to go into a boss fight with the weak version of the Tainted Lazarus. Instead, you might want to clear out an extra room so you turn back into the strong version of Lazarus if you have one of those. I would really recommend using this, especially if you're fighting a final boss like Delirium or Mega Satan or something. If you have one of them that is much stronger than the other, then if you did mistime your room clears, then you can just use flip while you're inside of the boss to turn into the strong one and get it much easier. Note, if you walk into an item room, for example, and you don't have a full charge and you take one of the items but you can't flip it into the other one and you walk out of there, when you come back later, that pedestal will be gone and you will not be able to flip and take the other item. So it is really important that if you do take an item and you want the shadow one, then you have to have a flip ready. Our next character is Tainted Eden, and oh man, this one is spicy. Normal Eden is based on being completely random, and this one is even more random since every single time you take damage you will reroll your entire build. Just know that all the items that you picked up will be rerolled into other items from that same pool. So if you pick up something from the angel pool, you will reroll into another angel pool item if you get hit. You will reroll your active item, you will reroll all of your passive items, you'll reroll your trinket, you'll reroll your cards, you'll reroll everything, okay? But even though it's random, that doesn't mean that there isn't ways to control it. There are many ways to manipulate this. For example, the common D4 glitch works perfectly here for Tainted Eden, and it works like this. You have to spawn as many passive items as possible on the floor. You're gonna go check out your shop, see if there's a passive item that you can buy there. You're gonna go check out your secret room, see if there's items there. You should open up every single chest and see if you can find items coming out of chests. You should spawn the boss item, but do not take any of these items unless they are really good. And then you'll wait until you spawn either an angel deal or a devil deal, and then you go in there and hopefully there's a passive item that you can buy. If you do get lucky and you find a passive devil deal item, once you've bought that devil deal item, that's gonna like mix up the code of the game. So the game is going to think that all the other items after that are also going to be coming from the devil pool. So after you've bought this devil pool item, then you will go back and pick up the rest of the items. Let's say you had 3 more, then you essentially have 4 devil deal items in the game's eyes. So the next time you get hit, you will reroll into 4 devil deal items. That's right. This is ultra powerful. You can do this with angels too. You just have to make sure that the items are spawned before you go into the devil deal, because if they spawn after, it's going to fuck up the whole process. If you can do this successfully, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times, you will have between, I'd say, 5 and 20 devil deal items, and that can be absolutely broken. I think you have to be the most unluckiest man if you don't get a broken build when you have 20 devil deal items, and if you do, then you just get hit again and roll it again. The riskiest part about Tainted Eden is if you just like keep getting hit over and over and over again and you can't control it and you keep getting bad builds. But if you have that many devil items locked in, then you won't get a shitty run at all. Your runs will be from either completely broken or mid at worst. I think it's very smart for you to leave some HP behind you on the floor, like red hearts and soul hearts and black hearts, because Tainted Eden has a tendency to just remove your HP out of nowhere. So if that happens and you get too low, you can just go back and heal. You should also be carrying a trinket on you at all times, even if it's a bad one, because every time you get hit, it can roll into something like, I don't know, Sigil of Baphomet, Cancer, Curved Horn. Same goes for your active item. Even if you have a really bad one, you should still be carrying it around, because it can roll into something much better. And that's basically it. Good luck. Roll away. Tainted Lost. Okay, here's the big one. Hello to everyone that just skipped straight to this timestamp, by the way. Hello, boys. Tainted Lost starts with base stats, but he has a very nice damage multiplier. He also starts with Flight and Spectral Tears, and he starts with 1 Holy card. Unlike the regular Lost, he doesn't have the Holy Mantle, he just has single-use Holy cards. This is what makes Tainted Lost so much more difficult than the regular Lost. Holy cards are super valuable, and you want to find them and keep them and save them for when you need them as much as possible. Luckily, every single time that a card spawns, there is a 10% chance that it's being turned into a holy card instead, just because you're playing Tainted Lost. Tainted Lost has this really nice mechanic that makes it so that items that aren't beneficial to the Lost cannot spawn. So HP upgrades are off the table, items that proc on hits are off the table, but there are also some other items that won't spawn. Some of them are Dead Cat and Holy Mantle, 2 very broken items that would make this so much easier. You can still find these items if you find a death certificate or if you spin them down with the spin down dice, but that's not very possible to happen, is it? The other really powerful mechanic of Tainted Lost is his ability to re-roll bad quality items, passively. Items with a quality value of 2 or less have a 20% chance of being re-rolled when encountered as Tainted Lost, so this grants you items that are on average much more powerful than if you would play as any other character. Some tips for Tainted Lost. Well, I could probably say About 50, honestly, can't lie, there are so many tips. The biggest one I'd say is probably getting more cards management. A really good way for Tainted Lost to get more holy cards is by getting starter deck that turns all pills into cards. If you can find the card generator, that's also a really strong item because you can generate cards every 6 rooms, and every single card has a 10% chance of being a holy card, remember? Items that make you able to carry 2 cards at once are really powerful as well, because then you could just carry a holy card along with like an offensive card or a teleport card or something, or you could just be lucky and find 2 holy cards and carry them both with you. I would say that items that proc off of luck are really powerful as well, like Parasitoid, Euthanasia, Bird's Eye, Ghost Pepper, Athame. Like, these items are completely broken because when you've completed your 3rd floor, you will get perfection if you didn't die before this, but then you wouldn't be here, you know? You need to watch out for blood donation machines, demon beggars, haunted chests, mimics chests. Like, watch out for these things. You have to keep your eyes peeled. Do not walk into them. You should also go and check out your shops because they have a really high chance of generating holy cards. And honestly, I just think you should try your very best, okay? I believe in you. That's all that matters. There's one obvious unlock that you should go for first, and that is defeating the beast, because then you unlock Sacred Orb. The other unlocks are nice as well, but Sacred Orb really stands out compared to the other ones. Good luck, boys. So we got Tainted Lilith, and she is really easy. I'm doubting that anyone actually needs a guide to play this character. She starts off with base stats, but her damage output is actually insane. She has a lower speed though, that kinda sucks. She starts with 1 red heart and 2 black hearts. When you first shoot, you whip out your jello that deals 3 times your damage to enemies on hits, and after that your jello starts shooting tears that deal your damage, basically. You can use this very situationally, like I would say if you're fighting on long range, then I would just whip it out and then just let it shoot. Jello actually shoots and aims for you, so you just have to whip it out, and then you can focus fully on dodging tears and dodging enemies, and you'll be fine. The whip attack is extremely strong at the start, and you feel overpowered straight from the get-go. But if you can find some crazy synergies like Brimstone or Tech X or something else, then that would be insane as well. You should try to defeat the beast as fast as possible. This will not be that hard, because then you unlock Twisted Pair, and they are some of the best familiars in the entire game. Good luck. Next up, we got Tainted Keeper, and just like the normal Keeper, he has coin hearts and not regular hearts. They are replenished by picking up coins, but unlike the normal Keeper, he only has 2 coin hearts and he cannot gain any other hearts normally. There are some ways to cheese this, like for example getting the Greed Skullet, but that doesn't happen that often. Unlike regular Keeper, he has a quad shot, not a triple shot. Whenever you kill an enemy, they will drop a coin temporarily that vanishes quickly, so you have to hurry up and pick up those coins. For Tainted Keeper, almost every single item costs money, so in order to get Devil and Angel items, you have to spend money. Boss items, you have to spend money. Trash Room, you have to spend money. Planetarium, and the shop. Also in Secret Rooms, etc. This character is really broken, and personally, it is one of my favorite characters in the entire game. That's why I'm using this, guys, for my streak. I play Eden, Lost, and Tainted Keeper every single day until Christmas, so check that out. For Tainted Keeper, you'll probably find your best items inside of the shop, since they have much better items than they usually do. Like, you can find quality 4s in there, and not just stopwatch. You can find like 2020 and Hemolacria and stuff in there. You can also go in there for free, since they don't require you to pay a key to go in there. In every shop there will be at least 1 shop item, 1 boss room item, and 2 treasure room items. And then the other things for sale could be either keys, bombs, cards, pills, or trinkets. Or even more shop and treasure room items. If you were to go devil deals, you will have to pay either 15 or 30 coins for the item, depending on if it is a 1 heart or a 2 heart item usually. So for example, Brimstone that usually costs 2 hearts will cost 30 coins for Tainted Keeper. Same goes for the Angel Room, that the better items will cost 30 coins and the worst ones will cost 15 coins. Some of the ones that cost 30 coins are Sacred Heart, Sacred Orb, Revelation, Holy Mantle, Godhead, you get it. My general strategy when I play Tainted Keeper is that I pick up all the coins that drop from killing enemies, but then I leave the coins that drop from room clear rewards or drop from chests, since they will not disappear like the ones from enemies do, and then I leave them behind on the floor in case I take damage in a room and I'm not able to heal back up. Then I can go back and heal from another coin. Or I find a sack room and I want to play the sacrifice room really hard, then we can do that with the coins that we left behind. I also like to skip out on 1, 2, or 3 treasure rooms and opt for planetarium chance instead at the start of the game, because you already get treasure room items inside of your shop, so you're not really missing out on that much if you don't go to your treasure rooms at the start. And hopefully the planetarium item that you will get on the 3rd or 4th floor will make up for the lost treasure room items. The one thing that you have to watch out for when you're playing the Tainted Keeper is to not take damage, obviously, and die, but you also have to watch out so you don't accidentally walk into a curse room. The only way you can walk into a curse room is if you have flying, because then you won't take damage on the way in, only on the way out. but you still have to be really careful because then you will be down to 1 HP. If you can find the Tainted Keeper's birthright, then you will be absolutely cruising. His birthright is so powerful since it will like magnetize all the coins and make them suck towards you once they drop from enemies, so you'll pick up a lot more coins this way and you'll become rich, man. Next character, let's go. Yeah, so the next one is Tainted Apollyon. This one's gonna be super duper short because there's not that much to say about this character. He starts off with average stats, but he has a worse tier rate than usual. He starts off with the pocket active item, the Abyss, and this can turn any bad pedestals into locusts that do damage. These locusts that you spawn will be fired out once you're firing, and they deal your damage per tick. I usually only use Abyss when I find an active item that I can't bring along, or if I find an absolutely awful item like, I don't know, Isaac's Heart or something. You can also use it when you're taking a blind item, because when you take a blind item, you'll hold it above your head for a second before it goes in your inventory. And while it's above your head, you can see if you want it or not. And if you don't, then just press Q and you'll use Abyss. And it's like you voided it from the start, you know? So yeah, that's basically it. Very boring, I know. The Tainted Forgotten is a really weird character. It's like a two-part character where you have the Tainted Soul and the Tainted Forgotten. You are controlling the Tainted Soul, and then you pick up the Tainted Forgotten and you throw it to deal damage. Note that the Tainted Forgotten is invulnerable, but that is also where all of your damage output is coming from. So you have to run around and pick up the Tainted Forgotten and then throw him at enemies, and then you can start swinging your club to deal 3 times your damage. The throw itself deals damage as well, but the swings deal even more damage. You can use this throwing mechanic to get into curse rooms for free. In and out of curse rooms, you can also use it to just go between rooms really quickly. Like, you should be able to get boss rush almost every single time you're playing this character. So since you are controlling the Tainted Soul, you are the hitbox of this character. So you have to watch out, and a good movement speed is usually very nice with this character since it allows you to dodge much better and able to pick up the Forgotten much quicker. Also know that you cannot pick up red hearts as this character. That's it. I really don't know what to say here, can't lie. Oh yeah, keep in mind that when you place a bomb, you will place it underneath the Tainted Forgotten, so you should make sure to have him above your head when you place a bomb, or you should place him down where you want the bomb to be placed. I do this mistake all the time where I think I'm gonna place it on my soul, but I'm placing it on the Forgotten that's like miles away instead. And then we have Tainted Bethany. Tainted Bethany is like the opposite version of normal Bethany. You know how Bethany can only have red hearts and picks up soul hearts for soul charges? Well, Tainted Bethany can only have soul hearts and she picks up red hearts for red charges. Instead of starting with the Book of Virtues, she starts with the Lemegaton, and the Lemegaton is an item that spawns a random wisp of a random passive item. This wisp will start circulating around you, and as long as that wisp is alive, you will still have the effects of the wisp's item. There's not really that much strategy with Tainted Bethany. I would say it's all down to luck. I would use the Lemegaton every time that it gets fully charged to not waste any battery charges, but I would save up on the red charges for when you go inside of an angel room, devil room, or a secret room, I would say. Maybe even a planetarium. That is because the Lemegaton has a 25 chance to pull an item from the current room's item pool when you are creating a wisp. So if you're standing inside of a planetarium, for example, every time you use it, there's a 25% chance that the item is going to come from the planetarium pool. You could use this really hard. For example, if you have 30 red heart charges, that's not that hard to find, by the way, and you stand inside the planetarium, you can use the Lemegaton 5 times. That means you'll get 5 wisps, meaning 5 items, and mathematically at least one of them should be from the planetarium pool. This is a great way for you to get powerful items. Some especially good things to find are 2 of Hearts card. They will just double your blood charges. That's crazy. Also a Queen of Hearts card that will spawn 1 to 16 full red hearts. That can be amazing as well. The car battery will cause Lemegaton to be used twice. The Charm of the Vampire will give you blood charges every 13 enemies killed. That's also going to be really nice. Little Chad is going to spawn a half a heart every 3 rooms, so that will give you a blood charge every 3 rooms. And other active items like the Book of Revelations and Satanic Bible can be very nice as well, because then you can keep up your soul heart HP. If you are really struggling with this character, I would just recommend loading into a new run, using Lemegaton, see if you get a broken item from the start. If you do, then keep going. If you don't, then just press R again. That's basically it. Just good luck. Okay, and finally we have Tainted Jacob. Hello to everyone that skipped straight to this timestamp. Hello boys. Tainted Jacob is the tainted version of Jacob and Esau, but this character is not divided into 2 parts like Jacob and Esau. Well, not really at least. Well, at the start of your run you will feel calm, like this is just a normal run, right? But then after 20 to 40 seconds into the run, Dark Esau will appear and he will be trying to kill you. He is this ghost that constantly targets you and will try to charge you all the time. Dark Esau deals massive damage to any enemy standing in the way when he tries to charge at you. If he does hit you, you will go into lost mode where you can only take one more hit before you die. Note that you will become lost without a holy mantle, so one more hit and the run is over. This can be so annoying because you can have a really powerful run and you can be completely broken, but then Dark Esau hits you and then you can't do anything and one more hit and you're done. You can have all the HP in the world, but if you turn into the lost, you are one shot from that point. The one thing that can save you from dying when you are the lost is having an Eternal Heart, as Eternal Hearts act like holy cards for you, basically, granting one hit before you die. You also start off with the pocket item, the Anima Sola, and this is really big. This is an item that is going to target Dark Esau and chain him down so that you can move around freely without having to worry about him hitting you, but you really need to watch out for when the Anima Sola wears off, because then he starts charging you again. Some tips here for Tainted Jacob. I would say that the more confidence you get while playing this character, you can use Dark Esau more and more offensively, so you can try to bait him into charging you and then charging into other enemies like bosses and stuff. That does mega damage. If you've left behind a lot of pickups on the floor because you can't get to them because you don't have flight, then you can actually make Dark Esau touch you like intentionally, because then you become the lost and you can fly over and take all of those pickups before you go to the next floor. This is a little bit risky, but if you have cleared out all the rooms, then it's not that risky. Another great way to use the lost mode here is to go into a devil room, and if there is an item there that you really want to buy, then you can just let Dark Esau hit you and then you turn into the lost, and then you can take that devil item for free. Note that you can only take one item for free though, because the rest of them will disappear, just like when you're playing as the lost. So maybe if there's two items that you want to buy, you'll buy one of them first for a red heart, then get hit by Dark Esau, and then buy the second item for free. So you get the best of both worlds. The one holy grail item that you want to find when you're playing as Tainted Jacob is Gnawed Leaf. Gnawed Leaf will cause you to become invulnerable while you're standing still, and then you can just let Dark Esau charge at you repeatedly and do damage to everything that's around you, but you will not get hit. Very strong. This is almost an insta win straight away. But my best tip for you when you're playing as this character is to just play it more and get to know the character. You learn what Dark Esau looks like when he charges, you learn what the sound cues are when he's charging, you learn at what velocity he charges, which ways he's going. It's almost like learning how to dodge a spider when you first started playing Isaac. Like, you see how they're like twitching, like back, pause, forward, pause, side, pause, you know? If you're stuck in like a crawl space or a skinny room with Dark Esau, just use Anima Sola to make sure, because in Anima Sola mode, he cannot hit you even if you walk straight over him. That's all for this episode, and good luck, especially with Tainted Lost and Tainted Jacob, man. Good luck. Thank you boys for watching, and I'll see you with another video tomorrow. Bye bye.
This is a Cooked Egg production.